Welcome to Speaking History. Today, we dive into one of China's most chilling urban legends, the mystery of bus number. 375 urban legends have a unique way of capturing our imaginations, don't they? These stories are found in every culture, from ancient myths to modern-day mysteries. They serve as cautionary tales, entertainment, or even explanations for things that go bump in the night. Whether it's the fear of the unknown or the thrill of the supernatural, urban legends reflect society's deepest anxieties and fascinations. And the more mysterious they are, the more they draw us in, leaving us questioning what's real and what's simply folklore. One such legend from China has haunted the minds of many for decades. It's a story of a routine bus ride that turned into a nightmare, an event that has yet to be fully explained. Bus number 375, also known as the Midnight Bus to Nowhere, is at the center of this eerie tale. What started as an ordinary route on a cold November night in 1995 quickly spiraled into one of China's most spine-chilling mysteries. But what really happened on that bus? And why do so many people still talk about it today? Get ready, because this story will make you think twice before boarding any late-night public transport. The incident. The story takes place on a cold November night in the year 1995. Bus number 375, also known as the Midnight Bus, was on its routine journey from Yuanmingyuan to Xiangshan, two well-known spots in Beijing. It was late, around 11 p.m. The streets were almost deserted with only a few passengers aboard. Just an ordinary night, or so it seemed. As the bus moved along its route, it made a stop at the south gate of the Summer Palace. This is where things take a mysterious turn. The bus driver and the ticket collector noticed something strange. At the stop, 3 new passengers boarded. But these weren't ordinary passengers. 2 of them appeared to be supporting a third man who was slumped between them. His head was hanging low, and his movements seemed unnatural, almost lifeless. But that wasn't all. The 2 men were dressed in traditional Chinese garments, flowing robes that looked completely out of place in modern Beijing. The passengers on the bus exchanged nervous glances. The driver hesitated for a moment, but then allowed them to board. After all, who could turn away someone in need of help, right? The bus continued on its route, and the atmosphere inside began to grow increasingly tense. The other passengers felt uncomfortable, as though something was terribly wrong. The mysterious trio kept to themselves, sitting at the back of the bus, their faces hidden in the shadows. The air felt heavy, almost suffocating. What was it about these men that caused such unease? Some say it was their eerie silence. Others believe it was the strange, unnatural smell that seemed to linger in the air. Among the passengers that night was an old woman. She sat near the front of the bus, watching everything unfold with sharp eyes. After several minutes of uneasy silence, the old woman suddenly stood up. She walked over to a young man who was seated near her and whispered something to him. Without warning, she accused him of stealing her purse. The bus fell into confusion. The young man, bewildered, insisted he had done nothing wrong, but the old woman was relentless. She demanded that both of them get off the bus at the next stop to resolve the matter at a police station. At first, the young man protested. Why should he get off the bus for something he didn't do? But the old woman's insistence grew stronger, and eventually he agreed. The bus stopped, and both of them got off. As soon as the bus pulled away, the old woman's demeanor changed completely. She turned to the young man and said something that sent chills down his spine. "I just saved your life," she whispered. Confused and still angry, the young man demanded to know what she was talking about. The old woman explained that she had been watching the 3 mysterious passengers at the back of the bus. When the wind blew through the open door as they boarded, she noticed something horrifying. They didn't have feet. Their legs simply weren't there. They were floating. The young man was speechless. Could it really be true? Had they just narrowly escaped something far more sinister than a simple robbery? The old woman was adamant. She believed the passengers were not human. Perhaps they were spirits, or worse, something evil. They stood in the cold night, both of them realizing the terror they had just avoided. The next day, the mystery deepened. Bus number 375 never reached its final stop at Xiangshan. Authorities were alerted, and a search was conducted. For hours, they scoured the bus's route, but there was no trace of it, until something truly shocking was discovered. The bus was found submerged in the Miyun Reservoir, miles away from its intended route. But here's where it gets even stranger. According to investigators, the bus was in perfect condition. Despite being submerged in icy water, the fuel tank was still full, and there were no signs of damage. Yet there were no passengers, no driver, and no conductor to be found. The bus had simply vanished into thin air before reappearing under the water. Theories and explanations. The disappearance and strange reappearance of bus number 375 left investigators baffled and the public shaken. Over the years, people have proposed many explanations, some logical, others steeped in the supernatural. These theories only add to the enigma of what really happened on that cold night in Beijing. Let's dive deeper into some of the most popular, intriguing, and spine-chilling theories that attempt to explain this unsolved mystery. Ghosts and spirits of the dead. The most popular explanation among believers in the paranormal is that bus number 375 had a ghostly encounter. According to this theory, the two mysterious passengers dressed in traditional Chinese clothing weren't human at all. They were spirits, or perhaps even something far more sinister. Some claim that these passengers were the spirits of people who had died unjustly or in a violent manner, doomed to wander the earth, seeking out the living. But why would these spirits board a bus in modern-day Beijing? Chinese folklore is filled with tales of spirits and restless souls interacting with the living, especially in the hours after midnight, the so-called ghost hour. These spirits are believed to be able to disguise themselves as ordinary people. The detail that they were floating, their feet not touching the ground, has been cited as a key sign that they were indeed supernatural entities. In Chinese belief, a spirit's feet don't touch the earth because they no longer belong to the mortal world. According to this theory, the bus was doomed the moment the spirits boarded. The idea is that they could have lured the remaining passengers into another dimension or a spirit world, which is why the bus and its occupants seemed to vanish without a trace. By the time the bus reappeared in the reservoir, time and reality had already been warped. Some claim that the decomposition of the bodies found inside the bus, far too advanced for just one day, supports this theory. Could it be that the bus had spent far longer in this otherworldly realm than what we perceive as time? Time travel or dimensional rift? Another intriguing theory suggests that bus number 375 might have traveled through time or slipped into another dimension. This theory plays into the strange timeline of events. How could a bus disappear for only a few hours, yet be found with severely decomposed bodies? How could the bus itself remain in pristine condition, with a full tank of fuel, as though nothing had happened, while the bodies inside seemed to tell a different story altogether? Some paranormal investigators suggest that what happened to bus number 375 is akin to the stories we hear of time warps or dimensional rifts. These occurrences are believed to happen in rare, unexplained moments when the boundaries of time and space become distorted. Could it be that the bus entered such a rift on that night? The eerie setting, the darkness, the cold, the late hour, all contribute to the possibility that the bus might have crossed into a realm where time functions differently than in our world. Perhaps the passengers lived through days or even years before the bus re-emerged in our timeline. Interestingly, this theory is backed by other similar incidents throughout history, where people or objects seem to vanish and reappear in unusual circumstances. There are tales of ships and planes disappearing in the Bermuda Triangle, only to return with no logical explanation. Could bus number 375 have been caught in something similar? A mysterious tear in the fabric of reality itself? Criminal hijacking and foul play. Not all explanations are supernatural, though. Some skeptics believe that the mystery of bus number 375 has a far more grounded explanation: criminal activity. According to this theory, the two mysterious passengers were not ghosts, but criminals, perhaps involved in a robbery, kidnapping, or some other form of foul play. Their odd behavior, traditional clothing, and eerie silence may have been a deliberate attempt to avoid drawing attention to themselves until they were ready to strike. Supporters of this theory argue that the real turning point of the night was when the old woman and the young man got off the bus. What if she had noticed something more practical than spirits, such as weapons or signs of a hijacking? In a quick-thinking move, she might have fabricated the accusation of theft to create a distraction, ensuring she and the young man could escape before things turned violent. But how does this theory explain the disappearance of the bus? One possibility is that the criminals forced the bus to detour, leading it far from its route to the Miyun Reservoir. There, they may have killed the passengers and left the bus to sink, thinking they could cover their tracks. The fact that no one saw the bus on the streets again could mean they were forced to abandon it in a remote location. However, this theory has its flaws. There's the issue of the bus itself being in perfect condition when it was found. If criminals had hijacked it, wouldn't there be more evidence of damage or struggle? And why was the bus submerged without any clear sign of tampering? Government cover-up. Then there's the more controversial theory that the entire event was covered up by the government. Some believe that something far more sinister happened on that night, and the truth was suppressed to prevent panic among the public. Beijing, after all, is a city with a long history of state secrets and government control over the flow of information. According to this theory, the authorities knew more about what happened to bus number 375 than they let on. The strange details, like the bus being found far from its route, the decomposition of the bodies, and the unusual circumstances of the passengers, could all point to something that was deliberately hidden from the public eye. Perhaps the passengers stumbled upon a secret, or maybe they were involved in something politically sensitive. By the time the bus was recovered, it was too late for a logical explanation, and the only option was to leave the mystery unsolved. But what could the government have been covering up? Some speculate it could have been an experiment gone wrong, possibly involving secret technology or a classified military operation. Others think it might have been a case of mistaken identity, where the wrong passengers boarded the wrong bus and paid the price for it. While there's no direct evidence to support these claims, the absence of clear answers fuels these suspicions even further. Mass hysteria, or urban legend. Lastly, we have the theory that the entire story of bus number 375 is, in fact, an urban legend, a story that has been exaggerated or even fabricated over the years. This theory suggests that the details we know today might be distorted versions of a more mundane event, twisted over time by rumors, hearsay, and fear. After all, urban legends thrive on fear and mystery. Could it be that the passengers' strange clothing, the old woman's actions, and the disappearance of the bus were all real, but not supernatural? Perhaps the passengers were simply eccentric, the old woman was overly cautious, and the bus's disappearance was a tragic accident rather than something paranormal. In this view, the eerie details, like the missing feet or the decomposed bodies, could be the result of embellishments added to the story as it was passed along. Over time, these elements took on a life of their own, becoming part of a tale that captivates people because of its unsolved nature. The mystery of bus number 375 leaves us with more questions than answers, and while theories may abound, the truth remains elusive. Whether it's a tale of the supernatural, a tragic accident, or an unsolved crime, one thing is certain: it will continue to spark curiosity for years to come. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more captivating mysteries. Let us know in the comments which theory you believe, or if you have one of your own.